Here is a Northern Telecom Norstar PBX, and a friend of mine very generously gave me a lot of telephone and computer equipment recently. I've got a box full of Norstar phones and also a Meridian PBX and a lot of phones for it. And I really haven't done very much with telephones, and I know I had a viewer ask me for some more telephone videos, and I'm sorry I haven't done many. I just am not a big telephone talker. On the few occasions I need to get a telephone call through, I usually just use my cell phone, because I don't really get into chatting on the phone. I just use it if I have to have some important business to take care of. But I found these phones really interesting because I really don't need to use an outside line to use these phones with the PBX. I can just set them up throughout this building and be able to use them just as a private telephone system. It would be kind of interesting to have an outside line hooked up to this, but I think in this building I'd have to get a business line from AT&T. They'd probably charge a lot for it. At home, I just got the absolute cheapest AT&T local only line in case there was an emergency and I needed to call for help and the cell phone didn't work for some reason. But I don't know if I could afford to pay for a business line just for fun. But these phones will really be useful in just a private network configuration. And since I haven't really done much with telephones, I kind of had to start learning from the beginning. Luckily, I found an instruction manual online for this PBX. And in this building, there were some old telephone connectors. I was able to salvage one. I think this is a 52-pin connector, and I learned what the color codes were for tip and ring on the multi-pin connector. It's got one connector for the private lines and then another connector for the outside lines. And I figured out the color codes for all the lines. You can find the manual for this online. But these only need tip and ring to work. And I haven't even begun to figure out how you program them yet. They've still got the old programming in them from where they came from. But they do work. I remember using, I think when I worked at a radio station, we had Meridian Northern Telecom phones, and then they went to Cisco IP phones. And at the company I work for now, they've got, what do they have? They have some kind of IP phone. I can't remember what the brand name of it is. But I think many companies now are going to IP phones rather than just dedicated telephones, because I think you can program them more easily, and they remember their telephone number no matter where you plug them in. But I've got this hooked up now, so I think I can test it. I don't know if you can hear the dial tone. Maybe you can hear it going into the microphone, huh? So I'm going to dial a telephone. Let me see if I can, I'm going to see if I can do hands-free on this. Okay, I've got a dial tone. Of course, it's just being generated by the PBX. So I'm going to dial an extension here. We'll dial... Hello, test, 1, 2, 3. I'm coming through hands-free on this telephone. Test, 1, 2, 3. And I think that this can handle, I think it can handle 26, probably 26 telephones. So I got a whole box of phones, and eventually I'm going to try to equip each one of these rooms with telephones so that I can have a private telephone system point to point anywhere in this building. And at home, I guess I could set up the Meridian system, because I do actually have an outside line there, and use that with the outgoing line. But it's got a lot of features. You can page all the stations. Let's see if I can. I'm going to do the page feature. Paging, 1, 2, 3, page 1, 2, 3. But you can also hook up an external paging amplifier. You can set up music on hold and do lots of things with it. So I'll need to get a better hookup to the multi-pin connector here and run the telephone lines throughout the building here to use the private telephone system. But I've managed to get 2 of these phones working, so I'll keep trying to work with the phones. These phones both had some problems with them. I think one of the keys was stuck down on one of them, but I've got a box full of them, so I should be able to get enough of them that work and maybe try to fix these ones here.